Hey guys, what's going on? It's Mikexingchen.
It's Danchen.
When you were growing up, did your mom tell all kinds of scary things to get you to behave? Well, of course ours did. Many of the old wives' tales, as they are called, were aimed at preventing bad behavior. Others were just sort of random.
Of course, as we got older, we realized some of the things they told us weren't exactly true, but some actually made sense. So today, we want to share with you some common old wives' tales that we've heard growing up that have some explanation or logic behind them, and some that don't.
Number 1, a man who shakes his legs will be poor. This saying originated from China. Chilly legs, shaky legs, whatever you want to call it, but leg shaking is incredibly common, especially when one hasn't gotten enough rest. Hence, restless leg syndrome. So what does it have to do with being poor? Aside from being an annoying habit, many Chinese believe that leg shaking makes a person look less sophisticated and proper, since traditional Chinese culture puts a lot of emphasis on good posture and composure. Thus, just from appearances, a man who shakes his legs will seem like less of a gentleman. Also, from a medical standpoint, a restless leg indicates that a person could have liver and kidney issues. In Chinese medicine, this means a person has less control over internal heat, which means he will have a quick temper, be irritable, and irrational.
These qualities will likely prohibit him from being successful in his career. Furthermore, there's a Chinese saying that goes, if a tree shakes, it will shed its leaves. If a person shakes, he will shed his prosperity. Shaking indicates instability and immaturity when it comes to handling money and life in general, which means a person who shakes cannot hold onto wealth in the long run. The same applies to women, except instead of money issues, a woman who shakes her legs is thought to suffer from emotional issues.
This creepy wives' tale is commonly believed in Asia, and there are many different theories as to why it's bad and what the consequences are. In Japan, it is said that if you cut your nails at night, you will not be able to see your parents die. Isn't that a good thing? Well, not exactly, because it's basically a way of saying you're gonna die really young or before your parents. So why is this a thing? There are several theories. One is, in ancient Japan, there were no such things as nail clippers, so people used knives or scissors to cut their nails instead. Obviously, this can be a rather dangerous task to do at night in the dim candlelight. And back then, if you could accidentally cut yourself, your wound could become infected, and without proper medical treatment, it could result in death. It really only needs to happen to a few people before everyone says it's a horrible idea to cut nails at night.
Another theory is that the Japanese believe that cutting tools such as knives and nail clippers can create a gap in what they cut, thus allowing spirits to get into the gap. So naturally, if you cut your nails at night when the spirits are roaming around, you risk having one squeezing in through your nails. Similarly, in China, they say that if you cut your nails at night, your soul will escape, or you will get nail fungus. In Malaysia, cutting nails at night is said to attract ghosts. Today, people say that the tale was made up so that people won't accidentally cut a nerve near the fingers or toes. Especially in the old days when people used candles or gaslight, accidents tend to happen. This old wives' tale is more of a preventative measure to remind people that cutting nails is best done in the daylight or in a brightly lit room.
Next, keeping the fan on at night can result in death. Death by fan is apparently a serious thing in Korea. There have been actual cases of deaths that resulted from running an electric fan on a hot summer night with the windows closed. To prevent this, one must crack a window open if the fan is running. The Koreans believe that running the fan in a hot enclosed room could kill a person through suffocation or hyperthermia. The scary thing is, we probably all did this at one point in our lives because it seems pretty harmless. While many think of this as an old wives' tale, it's actually valid. The reason is the human body maintains an even temperature via a thin layer of air surrounding the body. Even in very cold or hot environments, the body can slowly adjust because it uses this layer of air as a buffer. However, when there is wind, this layer of air is destroyed, so we feel colder on a windy day. The same applies in hot, windy rooms. When the fan blows directly onto the body, our body loses the ability to control temperature using this layer of air. Furthermore, the human body copes with high temperatures by sweating and cooling off when the sweat evaporates. When the fan continually dries the sweat from the body eventually runs out of fluids. Then the body temperature will rise rapidly, which can result in death by hyperthermia. Children, elderly, and people who are intoxicated are most at risk for this because they cannot regulate body temperature as well as a healthy, sober adult. So you see, it is good to take heed to certain old wives' tales. It might save your life one day.
Next, large ears and earlobes mean wealth and prosperity. This one is often heard in many East Asian and Southeast Asian countries where Buddhism is commonly practiced. That is, large earlobes will lead to a prosperous life. How do the size of earlobes have anything to do with your fate? Well, generally speaking, people think having any features similar to Buddha is a lucky sign, such as a full forehead, but somehow the one feature that stands out the most are large ears and elongated earlobes. Buddha is a divine being, so of course anyone who has features resembling him would be considered blessed and fortunate. Actually, Chinese face reading is a whole nother thing, but back to ears and earlobes. In traditional Chinese medicine, the ears are considered to be openings of the kidney on the surface of the body. So one with large shapely ears are considered to have healthy kidneys and will live longer. If the ears are fleshy and not bony, it means that the person is likely to be healthier in general. Additionally, it could mean that the person's brain was better developed in the womb, so he or she might be smarter, which makes it easier to succeed in life.
Next, avoid home renovations if there is a pregnant woman in the house. I could have told you that. This wives' tale sounds random, but it actually makes sense. The Chinese say that there shouldn't be any house remodeling done when a woman is pregnant. The reason is that major renovations will disturb the harmonious field that allowed the woman to become impregnated in the first place. In addition, once the fetus gets used to the magnetic field and sounds of a certain room, it may be disrupted if there are major changes, which may affect its growth.
Red hot ears means someone is talking or thinking about you. You've probably heard at some point in your life that if your ears are red, someone is talking about you, good or bad. Depending on if you grew up in Asia or Western countries, some say it means someone is cursing you, others say that someone is thinking of you fondly. Some even say that if your ears are red, you are soon to receive a lashing or beating. In China, there are even more complicated theories that saying having a hot ear at different times of the day represents different things. No matter what it is, it's like your ears are foretelling something that is about to happen. We searched far and wide for theories about the origins of this old wives' tale, but none are very clearly explained. What we do know is that most recently, scientists discovered that heated ears are related to brain activity because the inner ear and the brain share the same blood. So if you're using one part of your brain more, one side of your ears might heat up correspondingly due to increased blood flow. Therefore, it's possible that your own thoughts are causing the heat. I always thought that my ears were hot because that's where hot air escapes out of.
Next on our list, small hands will yield treasure, large hands will yield weeds. This is a saying that is only found in China. Some believe that if you have small hands, you're likely to be born with a silver spoon in your mouth, whereas those with big hands will have to labor hard for money. There really isn't any rationalization to this saying other than the notion that back in the day in China, people who have small, delicate hands are thought to be from noble or wealthy families, whereas those with thicker, larger hands are thought to be laborers or peasants. Of course, this isn't applicable today. Also, according to Chinese fortune tellers, those with smaller hands are likely to be wealthier because they are cautious with their money and think things through before taking on a business venture, thus increasing their rate of success. In comparison, those with larger hands are more reckless with money. The saying 花钱大手大脚, which literally means spends money with big hands and feet, now makes a lot more sense.
If you pull out a white hair, 3 more will grow in its place. Many Asian countries, including China and India, have this saying where if you pluck out a white hair, 2 more will grow in its place. The idea is the more you pull, the more they will grow. Friends of mine claim that this is true. Hair experts, on the other hand, saying that pulling a white hair out won't necessarily make more white hair grow, but that same empty hair follicle will likely produce another white hair. If you're lucky, it might come out a shade darker than before because each hair can vary in color due to health. So at the end of the day, it's probably best not to pull the hairs out at all because if you damage the follicle, it won't produce any more hair and then you'll be left with mini bald patches on your head. Anyhow, this seems to be a preventative old wives' tale to stop people from pulling white hairs or hairs out in general.
If you take a photo with 3 people, the person in the middle will die first. This is another very popular and creepy Asian old wives' tale and is known in Vietnam, Japan, Cambodia, Singapore, and the Philippines. There is no direct way to explain this, but many believe that it came about when the camera was first invented. People at the time were unfamiliar with the technology and how it was able to capture images so clearly, so there was a certain mysticism surrounding the camera. Some folks thought the camera was able to capture a person's soul and suck away their life force. Of course, when taking a picture with 3 people, the person in the middle is facing the lens and the center of the camera, so it is likely that person would be affected the most. The weird thing is, you would assume that this would apply to one person or any odd numbered group taking a group photo, but no, it only applies to 3 people.
Old wives' tales to keep children from misbehaving. Like we said, there are so many old wives' tales that exist purely to teach children not to misbehave. They don't have much logic behind them, but are simply used as scare tactics. Here are a few popular ones. Do not lie down after eating, or else you will turn into a snake or a cow. Avoid going to sleep immediately after eating a heavy meal at a late hour because you might never wake up. Don't let your children play outside the house after 6 in the evening, or else ghosts and spirits will steal them away.
Sleeping with wet hair can cause dementia. Avoid swimming at night because the water spirits will make you drown and claim your soul. If you leave rice, your future spouse will have acne. If you peep at someone bathing, you will get a sty in your eye. So there you go, guys, some Asian old wives' tales that we thought were interesting and some we heard growing up. And I don't know about you, but I heard about the leg shaking thing a lot because I shake my legs nonstop.
I'm guilty of that too.
Like my parents are always like, yo, you're gonna shake all your money away.
Yeah, I get told that a lot. And not only do I shake my leg, but I personally shake. Like, I'm shaking all the time, even when I'm standing there. I'm just like shaking.
Is that why you buy random stuff?
Dude, well, I'm not broke yet, so...
Is your hand small?
No, I don't know. I have normal sized hands. Yo, you know what one wives' tale that I heard recently that I actually started doing?
What?
It's the acne one. So
on your spouse?
On my spouse. So I always now finish every grain of rice.
Is that because your girlfriend will beat the crap out of you if you don't?
No comment, bro. No comment. But I'll tell you right now, I adhere to that one like it's my life.
Yeah, because if you don't adhere to it, your life would literally come to an end.
Yeah, but rice is delicious too. You know, I do that because it's delicious too.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there's bigger reasons behind this, but we'll see. All right, guys, let us know your thoughts on these wives' tales. Which ones do you believe and which ones do you adhere to? And let us know if there's some more that you've heard that we didn't cover. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you.
Bye.